Hello students, in today's video we will see how to use the concept of classes and objects within the C++ program. So in our first video we have seen how to just write the basic C++ program without the use of the classes and objects. So in today's video we will just try to write a simple program in which we will make use of the classes. So class is nothing, it is just a user defined data type, and it has two components. One of its components is its data members, and then we have the member functions. So I will just try to make use of that in this program. So in this program will try to take the details of the student from the user. So for example, we have to make a class, or I can say I am just making a program in which I am trying to enter the name and roll number of the student, and I am saving it on some variable. So for doing this task I will make use of the classes and objects. So to begin with, I will just first include the usual header files. So first I will write in, then we will start with the main. So before starting the program, we have to first of all declare a class. Class is nothing, it is just the major feature of C++, and it provides the method of binding together the data and the functions which operates on this data. So the basic thing is, like, first we have to declare the class. For the class declaration, we have a keyword class. Then we have to give the name of a class. This name is basically the user defined type. You can give, for example, I am taking the details of the student, so I will just name it as student. You can give it any name. So I have declared a class student. Then I have to just, as I told you, that I have to store the name of the student. So I am declaring here the data type char, that means character, and then I will just declare the variable name, and it is an array of characters. So for example, I am giving it a size of 20, so that means I will be able to store a name with 20 characters. So then I will declare another variable like int for storing the roll number. Okay, then so these are the data members of the class. Now I have to declare the member functions. For member functions, I have to first declare the access specifier. So here I am declaring the access specifier as public. Then afterwards I have to declare the function. For example, I will take two functions. One function I will take just to get the data, or I can say scan the data from the user, and next function I will take to display the data. So first I have to declare its return type. The return type of my first function is void. That means this function is not going to return anything. It is just used to get the data from the console. So I have declared it as void get data. Remember, we can just define the function within the class itself, but I will not define the function within the class. I am just declaring it here, and I will define them outside the class. So then I will just define next function, that is display, and this function will be used just to display the values which I have taken for name and roll number. Okay, so this is all. These are my two functions. Data members, I have name and roll number, and get data and display are two member functions which operates on name and roll number. So I will just close my class here. I will just put a terminated here. That means now class student, I have declared a class student with two data members, and then I have two member functions in it. Now the second thing in my program is to define the functions. That means I have to give the definition to these functions. So my first function is get data. Now I have to give the definition to this function outside the class. That means I have to declare, I have to write it as, I'm defining get data, so I will write void, then I have to give the name of the class. This is the syntax how we define a function outside the class. So first I have to write the return type, that is void, then I have to give the name of the class, that is student, then I have to write the scope resolution operators. These double colons are known as the scope resolution operator. Then I have to write the name of the function. My name of the function here is get data. Okay, now I will just define it. I will just give the message here to the user, that is enter the, by get data I am just trying to scan the values from the console, so I will just print a small message at the console, like enter the name of the student, like I will write enter the name. Okay, so that means name, I am scanning it on the name. Okay, as I have declared a variable name, this variable is of character type, then I will again write cout enter the roll number. Okay, enter the roll number. Okay, so I will just scan it on roll number. This is the basic variable that I have declared as int in the class itself. So and then I will close this function here. Okay, that's all the get data function has to do. Then I have another function which is display. So whatever I have taken in name and roll number, I will try to display that using the display function. So for that I will do like void student. Again the syntax will remain same, like first I have to write the return type, then I have to declare the name of the class, then the scope resolution operator, and then the name of the function. The name of my function is display here, so I'm writing it as display. Then I will write cout. Okay, I can write the new line character \n as this, so that it will come to the next line. Then I will write name. Okay, name is equal to, name is stored in the variable name, so I am writing it as name. Then again cout, it will first print the message, again I will write here \n. Okay, then I will write here roll number. Okay, this is a message, so roll number is stored in the variable roll number, so I am writing it here. Again I will just close this function. So up to this point I have declared the class, then I have defined the functions as well. Now what I have to do is, like, I have to now write the main function of this program. The main function of this program, as you know, and I have already shown you this thing in my previous video, that the C++ program always returns an integer value to the operating system or to the main function. So I write it as main, int main. Okay, now what I have to do is, like, I have to declare the object here. I have to declare the object of the class here, so that I can access the data members or the member functions of the class. So as you know, my class here is student. I have declared my class as student. In order to access the member functions like get data and display, I have to first of all declare the variable of the class. Using that variable I can access the member functions. Otherwise I won't be able to access the member functions of this class within the from the main. So that means, and that variable is known as an object. That means object is nothing, it's an instance of a class. That means whenever I am declaring a variable of a class, that is the object. So object has the property that it encapsulates the data members and member functions within itself. So what I will try here, I will declare an object of class student. So the name of my class is student. So I am declaring an object, I am writing it as obj. You can write any name, like you can give any name to this variable. Okay, so here I have declared an instance of a class student. So by obj now I can access the get data and display functions. You can see from here I have a class student here, right? So within the main function I am declaring here student and then obj. Okay, now by using this obj I can access these functions, otherwise I cannot access those from the main. So I am writing here obj dot, then the name of the function first, that is get data. Okay, then again obj dot, next function is display. Okay, then I have to write the first, to hold it on the screen I'm writing get ch, then as it is returning an integer value, and so, and then I am just closing it here int. So that means a C++ program basically have three parts. In the first part what we do, we declare a class. In the second part what we do, we define the functions that we have declared inside the class. In the third section what we do, we declare the main function. Okay, from the main we are just creating an object, and from that object only we can access the data members and the member functions of the class. Basically these data members are used by the member functions. So from the main program we are just calling these member functions using the object. What is an object? Object is nothing but it is an instance of a class. So we will just try to compile it now. As you can see there are no errors, so we can run it. Okay, you can enter the name here. So suppose for example I am writing here Kurat. Okay, then I am entering the roll number like 1, so it is showing me name as Kurat and roll number as 1. So this is how we write a very basic and simple program using the concept of classes and objects. So hope you have understood the concept of the classes in this video. In our next coming videos we will try to solve some more programs using the concept of classes and objects. So that's all for in today's video. Thank you for watching.